Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. Welcome to the channel. Great cloudy day. Let's make my hair a little more like. I'm Gray Cloud, Sage of the Eternal Moment. Goofing around for a minute. We're going to I'm going to read for you from Jesus Calling. But we're going to start off a little differently this morning. If you could, hit that like button, I'd appreciate it. And if you haven't subscribed, I appreciate that also. First, I'm going to say a prayer that I have written down that I haven't been using as often as I'd like, but I'm going to start practicing more. It's from a Joel S. Goldsmith. It's from the Infinite Way movement. Speak, Lord, for your servant hears. Your grace is my sufficiency in all things. And there is a sufficiency of your grace ever present in my consciousness. There is sufficiency of your grace, whatever prison I am in. Physical, mental, moral, or financial. There is a sufficiency of your grace present within me now to meet the need of this very moment. And sufficient unto this moment is your grace. I'm going to accept that. I'm going to accept that the grace is sufficient for the moment I'm in. Now let's begin. March 29th. You can hear the dogs barking. That's a little big girl. Evidently, Biddy and her have found something to chew on and play with, but I think Biddy has control of it right now, and if she's not letting it go, and when she does that, you'll hear little big girl just complaining. Here we go, March 29th. Stop trying to work things out before their times have come. Accept the limitations of living one day at a time. When something comes to your attention, ask me whether or not it is part of today's agenda. If it isn't, release it into my care and go on about today's duties. When you follow this practice, there will be a beautiful simplicity about your life. A time for everything and everything in its time. A life lived close to me is not complicated or cluttered. When your focus is on my presence, many things that once troubled you lose their power over you. Though the world around you is messy and confusing, remember that I have overcome the world. I have told you these things so that in me you may have peace. Ecclesiastes 3 verse 1, Ecclesiastes 8, 6 through 7, and then you have John 16, 33, if you're interested in looking those up for your own self, which I recommend people do. I think if you don't read yourself, personally, I'm not here to show you and to convince you of anything, and I've said that numerous times. So, that being said, I'm going to share something from my own personal study, and I haven't only read a little bit this morning, but there was something I read yesterday I wanted to put at the end of this video. So I'm going to read from Joel S. Goldsmith, Spiritual Interpretation of Scripture. You defeat your own realization if you go outside your own consciousness for help. You may recommend any book, pamphlet, lecture, or other reading for the inspiration it gives, or for the knowledge of truth it imparts, but never claim that any of these will help in healing. Never discourage or urge church attendance or membership. Remember, never discourage or urge church attendance or membership. There's a reason he's saying that, and I do understand. Each one must work out his own salvation at the point of consciousness where he finds himself. Your healing work is done within your own being and is not dependent on what the so-called patient does or thinks. Now, of course, he's referencing right there people that are trying to get into healing work. We're coming to understand that illness is a part of an illusion. Anyway, we're not going to go all into the philosophical part. I just wanted to share something. Let me share this last other paragraph, and I think you'll kind of get a gist of where I'm coming from. Be free in imparting truth to those eager for it and who are capable of listening. Those who are receptive. Never permit discussion or argument. Never try to convince. You see? I'm not trying to convince you, because there's nothing I can say or do that's going to convince you. If you're not ready, if you haven't experienced it, you're not going to come to the conclusions that I have found. That's just the fact of it. And nobody else can do that to me either. They can talk all day long, offer all the information they want, but until I had my own personal experience with the divine, it wasn't going to happen. So let's start. Never permit discussion or argument. Never try to convince. If the friend, seeker, or patient cannot quickly listen and accept, stop at once. This does not mean that we cannot answer questions. We are eager to do that. But one will not argue, discuss, or try to convince. Just as receptivity is your greatest spiritual quality, so must it be in those who come to you. That's the way I've always looked at it. I would rather be more of doing what it is I have to do, and hopefully someone notices there's something different, there's something going on. Then when I'm approached and someone says, things seem to be working for you. What is it that's going, like, what is it that I'm having trouble, like, then I can open up and say, well, what works for me is I listen to that inner voice, and I listen to, I try to follow at least the guidance that I get. Doesn't mean I'm always on track, but the guidance that's offered to me throughout my day, I try to be receptive to it. Whether that be through other people or directly in my mind or through nature, whatever, Receptivity is a big thing. I have to learn, like when I go out in public and stuff, there's times I'm just passing through the stores and get into a conversation with something. And sometimes we get on a deep conversation for 5 minutes just because I happen to mention how great a day I'm having, or they mention how great a day they are, or they talk about how wonderful and blessed they feel. And that opens up doorways. But there's also other times you encounter people and you mention something alluding to the source, Big Kahuna, whatever. You mention something dealing with the subject of God, and sometimes you can instantly see people are pulling back. And if I see that, I'm not going to continue to waste my time and try to convince them of anything, because if they're not wanting to talk about that kind of thing, that's their right. It's when someone you can tell is willing to open and listen or share to you their testimony or whatever. Those are the moments that I look for, and I try to just go with that. That's how I am with the channel. Y'all have heard me say this over and over. I'm not here to push any of this on you. I'm sharing this devotional because I think it helps me. And I share from other sources. And I've said time and time again, I have studied many things. And I have a really wide open understanding of some stuff. And I know certain things have been shown to me that haven't been shown to other people. And other people have gotten things shown to them that I haven't a clue about and don't know about and probably couldn't understand. But that's the way it works. At least it does for me. So until next time, Mr. Grey Cloud here, humbly, Sage of the Eternal Moment, over and out. Ditto.